The White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce and On Location TV 19 are proud to present Your Business Matters, dedicated to your business needs. The White Bear Area Chamber is a nonprofit business organization serving as an advocate for the White Bear area and its business community. Now here is the Executive Director of the White Bear Area Chamber and the host of Your Business Matters, Tom Snell.
I want to welcome you to Your Business Matters, brought to you by the White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we interview community leaders and local business owners so that you can be informed about the developments in our community. Today, I am pleased to welcome Ramsey County's Kate Bartell, Recycling Program Manager. We will discuss how BizRecycling efforts can save businesses significant amounts of money, and also about recycling grants that are available to area businesses. Kate, thank you very much for joining us today on Your Business Matters.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. I want to start out by asking a couple questions about the program in general. And it's called a Community Power Program, and it's set up specifically to work with businesses on recycling efforts. Is that correct?
Yes, so the BizRecycling program is a project of the Ramsey Washington Resource Recovery Project.
And what is Resource Recovery Project?
Great question. This is a joint powers board that's Ramsey County and Washington County working together to implement the state required mandates for recycling and management of waste.
So they have a state mandated requirement.
Right, so the state sets directives for how much is supposed to be recycled, who's supposed to be doing those recycling, and trying to reach environmental goals and protect the public health of our communities. And the counties are responsible for implementing and reaching those goals.
Okay, now when you mention that they're working on these recycling efforts between the two counties, so can one assume that waste reduction then is a big challenge in our community?
Absolutely. Our recycling rates between Ramsey and Washington County have kind of stagnated. We're in the mid to low 50s% recycling rate, and we know that there's still a lot of material that's yet to be recycled. Between our two counties, we have about 400,000 tons that still need to be recycled.
So what you say 50%, does that mean that 50% of the stuff you throw away, garbage you throw away, gets recycled and the rest goes into some dump?
Yes. So right now, a little clarification.
Okay.
But, so 50% of the waste that's generated by residents and businesses is managed through recycling. That means someone took the time to put paper in paper recycling or cans and bottles into a single sort recycling, either within a business or within a home. And most of the materials in Ramsey and Washington County are actually transferred to the Resource Recovery Facility in Newport, and that waste is processed into energy. So it's not landfilled. There's still a portion of our waste that is landfilled, but most of the waste from Ramsey and Washington County is managed very high on what we call the waste hierarchy, of keeping materials out of landfills.
And so why do you think there is a government mandate to increase recycling? What would be some of the reasons why that's happening, do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple pieces in there. One, as we talked about, the recycling rates haven't really changed. So mandates are a way of kind of encouraging growth along an area that the public health wants. But recycling, there's a lot of benefits for recycling. Everything from it creates jobs. If paper is recycled and turned back into paper, there's local jobs, there's local companies doing that work. There's greenhouse gas savings. The greenhouse gas impacts from creating new aluminum versus reusing aluminum cans into a new can are drastic. So you've got greenhouse gas, you have environmental reasons, you have economic reasons for doing it. In Ramsey and Washington County in particular, the counties have set forth the county environmental charge, which is a tax on residents and businesses to encourage businesses to promote recycling.
Okay, and I'm going to get into that in just a minute, but I want to go back to some other issues. Is there a good use of reusing this information, or the stuff that is recycled, the paper and the aluminum and these other items?
Yes, there's very strong markets for those materials.
Okay, all right.
And there's very high priced, it's a commodity trading market, from ferrous metals to aluminum, corrugated cardboard, paper, the fiber market.
Okay. And then on the community part with the recycling, do we have any issues with our landfills potentially running out of space, or not having having to expand into other areas that people might not want?
That's always a concern.
Okay.
We as a society generate waste, and it has to be managed. This is not something that's going to go away today, and we want to make sure that our material is best managed. So how the Ramsey Washington Resource Recovery Project is looking at it is waste is a resource.
Yeah.
If we're throwing something away, that's an inefficiency and something that could be better utilized within our community.
Okay.
In Ramsey County alone, what was thrown away in 2013 was equivalent of $20 million that could have been brought into our
local economy
had it been recycled.
Oh, that's $20 million. That's a lot of money. And that's Ramsey County alone.
Just Ramsey County alone. And so we're throwing away significant resources that could be developed in our local economies for local prosperity, local jobs.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the issue of taxes and mandates that we talked about just a little bit earlier in the interview. Can you let me know what is going to happen with mandates and taxes in the future for both businesses and for residents?
So in the 2014 state legislature, they made some changing legislation that impacts the businesses and residents in White Bear in this community. They said by 2030, there's a 75% recycling goal. So we need to try and move from a 53% recycling, where we're at now, to 75%.
Okay.
And one of the things that
we got 15 years to do it.
We have 15 years, absolutely. So this is a path that we need to work on together, and that's part of what we're hoping to do with our BizRecycling program, is work together towards achieving that goal. The state legislature also said in law that by 2016, January 1 of 2016.
That's next year.
That's next year. Businesses that produce more than a 4-yard dumpster a week of materials must be recycling 3 material types. Now, let me break that down a little bit, because that's
what that means. And the dumpster, what was that you mentioned again? Of what type of dumpster?
It's called a 4-yard dumpster. Now, that's your average dumpster size that a business has, about a 6 foot tall, so about your height, an average dumpster. If you have a dumpster that's picked up once a week, as a business, you're probably now required by law to recycle in January 1 of 2016. And by recycling, they say 3 material types. Now, if you have single sort recycling, there you go, you're covered.
Single sort recycling meaning?
You have one bin that you put cans, bottles, papers, plastic, all in one spot. That would count. Those are 3 material types. So material types could be plastics, paper, organics, metal. Those are all material types.
Okay.
So that's not a mandate, but it's a law that says you now are required to have recycling.
Okay. And you said it's a law but not a mandate.
Correct.
What does that mean?
Well, it's a minor just change, but one of the things that BizRecycling is here to do is to help these businesses understand, are you in compliance, how you become compliant, and grants to help fund businesses so they can be in compliance.
Well, so this is information that is very important this is an average business that you're talking about with the one pickup a week.
Absolutely. A restaurant, a daycare, a hotel, an office complex. These are businesses that would be impacted.
All right. So now when we look at these businesses that are going to be impacted by this law, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but also bring it back to in today's standards. Let's say that you've got a typical medium-sized or small restaurant. Do you have any examples of businesses that have actually saved money by recycling?
Yes, we do. We've worked with over 2,000 businesses in Ramsey and Washington County. We've had multiple restaurants in particular produce a lot of food waste.
And that would be organic waste? Is that the same thing?
So organic means anything that basically has carbon. So you're talking food waste, soiled napkins, paper plates, those type of materials. Those are heavy, wet materials. And if you could take those out of the garbage and put them in organics recycling, you no longer pay the county environmental charge on your tax statement on a trash bill, because anything that goes out of the garbage isn't taxed. So the county environmental charge in Ramsey County is 53%, and the state tax
of the cost of your garbage.
Of the cost of your garbage.
That could be a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and that's why it's there. It's an incentive for businesses, a financial incentive for businesses to better manage their waste. So if you could take that material out of your garbage and put it into organics, you're no longer paying any tax on it.
Wow, okay.
And the county environmental charge is 53% in Ramsey County and 35% in Washington County. And there's also a state tax of 17% on top of that. And that tax is only on materials in your garbage. So a Ramsey County business, if you had a $100 a month bill from your hauler, your bill would actually be $170 a month. But if you could take that waste and put it into organics, say now your garbage service can go down to $50 a month.
Wow. And I mean, and there are examples of restaurants or of the other places that you mentioned that have actually saved considerable amounts of money.
Yes, we're seeing restaurants that are saving on average $100 a month at a minimum, where Cafe Latte in St. Paul has implemented this program and is saving money. We have, if you go on our website, lesstrash.com, we have a whole section of restaurants. So you can actually reach out and talk to these other businesses that have done this to see how they're saving money and how it's actually working on the back of house recycling side.
And is this a difficult process to undertake? Let's say you're a resident or you own a small business in White Bear Lake and you're interested in doing something to help with this effort.
That's a great question.
And I mean, is it oh my gosh, it's going to take me hundreds of hours to save $100 a month. I don't have the time.
That's an excellent question, and we understand that garbage is a small cost of what businesses have to pay each month, and it's not something they think about. And so we've tried to make it a little easier. So we understand business owners are not garbage experts and recycling experts, and they don't need to be. So what we offer is a no obligation free service where we have a relationship with the Minnesota Chamber WasteWise staff who will come out and do a free assessment for these businesses.
So this isn't a government agency that's coming out, this is a private entity.
It's a private entity, and they're a business, they're a chamber of commerce. So they're coming at it from a business perspective. So it's no obligation, it's free, and it's non-regulatory. So they can come in, they'll walk into a business with the business owner and look at how their operations are being done, how they manage and collect waste. If they're a restaurant, how their prep kitchen works, how their materials come in, and can customize a plan for a business owner on how to do this that best works with their operations, their staff, and within their budget and timeline. Because they don't need to become experts, but it is a little tricky. It's a new industry, and but this could help them save money. So we're trying to help these businesses along by providing this no obligation service.
And it saves tax money.
There's savings to be had.
Now, can people work with their hauler on this, or is this something that that they work directly with Minnesota WasteWise and other organizations like our chamber or other entities that are out there?
Absolutely. And the hauling community, whether it's a trash hauler, a recycling hauler, they're often the first source of contact and information for these business owners. They're the ones that are there once a week, once a month, whatever their collection service frequency is. One of the things that works really well is the hauling community often picks up the material at the curb. So they know what kind of dumpster needs to be had outside for a business and how to reduce maybe number of trips that a business has. But Minnesota Waste-Wise really helps with inside the business.
Great. Now, the final question I want to ask you is there's some grant money available to help businesses go into these recycling programs and implement them. Is that correct?
That's correct. We do know that there can be a startup cost, whether that's buying new containers, compostable bag liners, signs, labels. Maybe you need education for your businesses. So through BizRecycling, there's grants up to $10,000 per business address for a business to apply for. It's a very short application process. It's a 2-page application. It's a 4-week turnaround on review time, so it shouldn't hopefully be a burden to these businesses to apply for money. In 2014 alone, we gave out over $400,000 to over 80 businesses that are starting and implementing programs within the community.
Great. Well, that's absolutely wonderful. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you, what do they need to do?
They need to visit lesstrash.com. It's our website where there's phone numbers, email addresses. You can see the grant application documents, and probably most importantly, success stories. You can see how other businesses have done this and how it's worked within their business operations.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming out and talking to us today for the White Bear Area Chamber. Your business matters, and also businesses are interested, they can contact directly to our chamber and we'll refer them directly over to your wonderful program.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate Bartell, for joining me today. This has been Your Business Matters. I'm Tom Snell. For more events that the White Bear Area Chamber is doing, go to our website, www.whitebearchamber.com.
You've been watching Your Business Matters. For more information on this program or the White Bear Area Chamber, visit www.whitebearchamber.com or call 651-429-8593.